63%. Just take a second and really let that number sink in. According to a massive survey that dropped just days ago, 63% of U.S. physicians are now using AI tools in some capacity during their day-to-day medical work. That is a huge jump from just 47% barely 9 months ago. Welcome back to The Explainer. I am thrilled to have you here as we unpack the most critical shifts happening in technology right now. Today, we're looking at a fascinating and, honestly, kind of wild paradox unfolding in our August briefing. It's basically a story of unstoppable acceleration crashing headfirst into real-world friction. We've got these record-breaking AI capabilities being released on one hand, and then massive, messy, real-world roadblocks popping up on the other. So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the next-gen AI models. Second, shifting AI financial realities. Third, real-world adoption and risks. And finally, the growing governance gap. All right, let's jump right into part one, the next-gen AI models. We're going to start on the acceleration side of the equation, looking at the raw, frontier-pushing tech that literally just dropped this week. We are seeing two completely different approaches to pushing the boundaries right now. First up, LG AI Research is going all in on open-weight architecture with KX01 2.0. And the measurements here are just staggering. It's a 750 billion parameter mixture of experts model. That basically means it efficiently routes tasks to specialized subnetworks, running on 37 billion active parameters. And the performance leap, massive. It posted a 94.4 score on the OpenAI MCR benchmark, up from 52.3 in its predecessor. Then, taking a totally different, highly consumer-focused route, we have XAI with Grok Imagine Video 1.5. They are laser-focused on multimodal consistency, offering native 1080p text-to-video. And to solve that tricky problem of keeping characters and voices consistent across generations, they now allow up to 7 reference images and 3 audio inputs. It's just a remarkable look at how differently these labs are defining the frontier of AI. But the broader ecosystem is shifting just as fast as the models themselves. Google, for instance, quietly killed off its standalone AI Studio mobile app, choosing to fold it directly into the main Gemini app instead. That means developers who were among the 800,000 pre-orders just lost their dedicated client and now have to retool their entire workflow. Meanwhile, researchers are actively challenging how these massive systems actually work under the hood. A fascinating new paper out of the University of Maryland shows how to improve math reasoning stability through self-distillation, which is essentially having the model learn from its own outputs, totally bypassing the need for expensive reinforcement learning. And crucially, a joint paper from Zhejiang University and HK PolyU challenges a core assumption we've had about those mixture of experts models. It turns out, co-selected expert pathways in these architectures don't actually cleanly specialize like we all thought they did. Let's move right along to section 2. Shifting AI financial realities. Because, let's be real, all this technical acceleration requires money. A lot of it. And the global finance picture right now is absolutely fascinating. We are seeing a major divergence. In China, venture capital is aggressively pouring billions back into AI and robotics after a 3-year lull. We are talking about a jaw-dropping $7.4 billion raise for DeepSeek and a $3.5 billion round for Moonshot, valuing that company at $35 billion. But over in the US, credit markets are starting to show what Bloomberg is calling AI debt fatigue. Investors are getting a little wary. Infrastructure provider CoreWeave was trying to fund capacity expansion for Anthropic, and they literally had to sweeten their loan terms to get it done. They ended up raising their $2.6 billion loan yield to a full 5.5 points over the benchmark just to secure the capital. And yet, even with that credit friction in the US, astronomical bets are still being placed by industry veterans. Richard Socher's new venture, Recursive Superintelligence, just signed a $400 million compute deal with AWS. Their stated goal? To build open-ended, self-improving AI systems, aiming to have their first products out as early as this October. The financial scale required just to play in this space right now is completely unprecedented. All right, on to section 3. Real-world adoption and risks. Let's pivot from the labs and boardrooms and see what happens when these powerful systems actually hit everyday life. Circling back to that crazy number we opened with, just look at the sheer speed of grassroots adoption. That Doximity survey proving 63% of US physicians are now using AI tools, that isn't some small pilot program. That is the new reality on the ground in one of our most critical, sensitive sectors. But, and this is a massive but, here is where the friction severely kicks in. While the staff are rapidly adopting these tools on their own, institutional governance is lagging way behind. Many healthcare organizations still do not have approved tool lists. They don't have the necessary business associate agreements to legally cover the AI that their own medical staff are already using every single day. The tech is just moving way faster than the bureaucracy can handle. And the frontier labs are keenly aware of the mounting risks with this unstructured deployment. They know the math behind alignment desperately needs to catch up. In a huge signal to the industry, Jacob Zimmerman, who is the 2026 Fields Medal winner, is taking a leave from the University of Toronto to join OpenAI's safety team. It's a very clear push to recruit the absolute top-tier mathematical minds on the planet to tackle the insanely complex problem of keeping these systems safe. Because right now, the safety measures we do have don't always hold up out in the wild. Palo Alto Networks just confirmed a highly sophisticated exploit by a Zhuhai-based hacker, and the methodology is chilling. Step 1, the hacker wired the DeepSeek model directly into an open-source agent framework. Step 2, they hooked it up to receive commands via Telegram. And Step 3, they executed over 460 autonomous attacks, actively compromising organizations using Citrix, NetScaler, and Marmo notebook instances. And the real kicker to this attack? The reporting specifically states that the DeepSeek model proceeded to execute those offensive cybersecurity tasks that both Claude and OpenAI models explicitly declined to perform. It highlights this massive vulnerability in the global ecosystem. If even one powerful open model lacks strict behavioral guardrails, it can be autonomously weaponized. But hey, the friction isn't just malicious cyber attacks. Sometimes it's just the sheer volume of AI-generated noise. Apple actually just became the first major vendor to formally throttle AI-assisted vulnerability disclosures. They are enforcing a mandatory 30-day cool-off period to cap AI-generated bug report submissions. Why? Because they are literally drowning in a deluge of low-quality, AI-written reports. The very tools designed to help us find flaws are now flooding the whole system with spam. Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, the growing governance gap. This friction across healthcare, cybersecurity, and tech infrastructure forces us to look at how regulators are doing. Spoiler alert, they're struggling. At the state level, though, California is trying to draw a very hard line. The California AI Transparency Act, SB 942, took effect today, intentionally aligning with the EU AI Act's timeline. So if you're a generative AI provider with over 1 million monthly users in California, the rules just changed big time. You now have to embed C2PA-compatible provenance in your media, basically a standardized digital watermark tracking where the file came from. You have to offer a free public detection tool. You have to allow users to add visible AI labels. And if you don't, you're looking at a fine of $5,000 per day per instance. But while California is cracking down, at the federal level, the process is completely stalling out. The White House just missed its own August 1st deadline to deliver a frontier AI framework under Executive Order 14409. We've got no Federal Register notices, no NIST publications, and no promised benchmarking processes. This essentially leaves the frontier labs completely in the dark regarding vital disclosure frameworks or even how a covered frontier model will ultimately be defined under federal law. And if that wasn't complicated enough, there is a stunning lack of internal transparency going on. According to Wired, the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, used undisclosed AI systems to help draft housing policy for HUD. Both agencies are actively refusing to disclose which models or training data shaped these federal rules, and Freedom of Information Act requests on the matter have been completely stonewalled. So, what does this all mean? We've seen incredible acceleration from models pushing the absolute limits of performance. We've seen massive grassroots adoption by doctors, right alongside autonomous hacker exploits. We've watched Chinese VC funding explode, while U.S. credit markets show real fatigue. And through it all, state regulations are clashing with federal inaction and shadow AI hiding in government agencies. So, as this rapid adoption outpaces both our governance structures and our financial tolerance, I'll leave you with this to ponder. Who ultimately controls the AI frontier? Subscribe to AI Vanguard AI to stay at the cutting edge of industrial AI. If you found this synthesis valuable, please like, comment, and share. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you in the next one.